The family cried as these men caught them, but what the she-wolf did was amazing. Wild animals are usually considered dangerous, especially those who have lived in the jungle all their lives. But for this woman and her family saw a different part of the wild animal. A wounded wolf named Lara. The woman released the wolf from the trap, and what happened next was unbelievable. Lara is an adventurous young woman. From a very young age, she liked the wild very much and was more comfortable outdoors than ordinary children. But at that time, she didn't have many friends after she got pregnant and her boyfriend abandoned her with her little girl named Sarah. She prefers to be alone and often deliberately avoids dealing with people. However, she also enjoyed walking with her dog's Beard, a lively German shepherd given to her by her father for her 13th birthday. They'll venture into the woods together and chase rabbits and squirrels. If they catch one, they'll put it back in the wild. She spent most of her teenage years with her lovely dog and her baby. Eventually, the German shepherd died young, leaving behind her human friend. After Beard died, Lara was devastated. But she didn't know that one day a rare encounter with wild wolves would change her life forever. As the years went by, Lara ended his marriage and had children, but she never stopped walking into the woods. She likes to listen to birds, and sometimes she camps there. One night, a few weeks before her 36th birthday, she went to the forest as usual with her baby, but this time she's there to take pictures. She was taking a picture of a squirrel when she suddenly heard a strange howl. Lara suddenly froze. "What's that?" she thought to herself. The voice came again, and this time she was very sure that it was a wolf. Although she'd never really seen them up close, she had heard them howling many times during the night. The howl, however, sounded different. Lara could see that whatever wolf was making the sound was in pain, in great pain. Lara looked in the direction where she heard the whining. It sounds like it came from deep in the forest. The wolf's in trouble. She wasn't sure whether to go home or look for animals that needed her help. She'd never saved a wolf before, but this is well aware of one thing, and it's dangerous to do so. Well, considering what to do next, the howl came again. This time the voice was louder and more desperate. It's like this animal can't stand this pain anymore. Lara heard the howl, and before she could react, she went up and ready to save the animal that had asked for help. She pushed away the thick leaves and rushed into an opening. Just then she stopped and froze, squatting only a few feet on the ground, a few meters away from the wolf. Its front legs are trapped. The wolf seemed to suffer a lot in his eyes, and he stared at Lara angrily. The wolf seemed to say, "Don't you dare come near me." "Well, you're in pain, aren't you?" "I can't help you without your permission." "I'm not here to hurt you," said Lara. But the wolf howled. It was angry. It doesn't trust Lara at all. Just as the presence of this woman will only irritate the wolf, who desperately tries to get out of the trap, but only makes things worse. If you keep doing this, you're going to hurt yourself even more. "Listen, I'm here to help," Lara said quietly as she approached the animal. But the wolf let out a very loud howl. Lara was frightened and quickly moved away from the angry animal. Although the wolf's behavior is depressing, Lara still wants to help. She knew that the wolf did it only because it was uncomfortable and painful. She sympathized with the poor animal and decided to do all she could to save it, even if it meant risking her own life. On closer inspection, Lara found that the wolf's legs had been scratched deeply because of the trap. From the appearance of the wound, Lara could tell that the animal had been trapped for more than 24 hours. It's a standard animal trap. It catches the leg well. With every movement, the wolf in its sharp metal claws plunged deep into the wolf's leg. The wolf is not yet fully grown, at most 6 months old. It has light brown fur and black eyes, which is very unique. It also has white fur on its head, just between its eyes. Lara was sad because she knew that the wolf probably spent the whole night in the cold. It must have been a lonely, long, and terrible experience. Ready to try again, Lara approached the injured animal, but fell back as the wolf extended her sharp teeth towards her. It was then that she realized that saving wolves would be an uphill battle. Lara knew that the only way out was to win the trust of the animal. In this way, the wolf will let her close to it. She stepped back to think about the way out. Meanwhile, the wolf was still sobbing. It grew more and more tired, and the pain drained it of all its strength. So Lara knew she had to move quickly, very quickly, with food. Lara suddenly muttered to herself, Lara must know that the wolf be hungry and that eating would greatly restore her strength and make the animal trust her. Lara wasted no time and went hunting at once. It took a while, but she finally found a hare and caught it. After that, she returned to where the wolf was with the dead hare. She cut the hare with a knife and began to throw meat at the wolf. At first, the animal refused, gnashing its teeth at Lara, but the woman didn't give up. She continued to throw meat at the wolf. Before long, the wolf could no longer resist the food and finally began to eat the meat that Lara threw at her. It ate slowly at first, but soon got used to it and began to gobble it up. When it eats, Lara tries to get close to it. At first, Lara's actions seemed to irritate the animal, but later it didn't care. It let her acquiesce in her actions. When the wolf was distracted by the food, Lara tried to reach for the trap, but the wolf sensed the movement and pounced on her. At this rate, Lara knew she couldn't finish it today. She had to find another way for the animal to trust her and remove the trap from its leg. Lara hurried home to get his escapement bar while the injured animal ate. When she came back, she had blinded the wolf. She could see that some strength was restored to the animal, and it no longer whimpered as before. Just then, Lara quickly tried to fix the wolf with a grab bar, but the wolf quickly ran away. "Oh, come on, I want to help you," she said, and try again, but the wolf ran away again. Nevertheless, Lara remained patient with the injured animal. She paused all her movements, and her daughter was crying and shaking from those bad guys who pointed towards them. On this bad night, she thought this was the end. However, an old friend came to save them from those bad guys, then leaned closer to the animal and said calmly, "Hey, woman, I'm here to help you, okay? Please let me take your bad situation." The animal attacked the bad guys cruelly and made them run away, and even left the money and the jeweler that they take off. As soon as this came out, the wolf calmed down and stopped fighting back. Just then, Lara quickly pressed its head down, and the wolf didn't fight back. It just lay still, as if it finally understood what had happened. What Lara did next was extremely dangerous. She carefully removed the gun from the ground and shot in the air. Soon, the ranger came to take her and her baby home safely. Days later, cops found the bad men were died in another trap. Now that it's free, nothing can stop it from attacking Lara, who quickly retreats after releasing the animal. But the wolf's next move is unbelievable. The wolf sobbed for a moment and then slowly stood up. It stared deeply at Lara as if it could see through her soul. The wolf looked happy and seemed to be smiling. Just then, the wolf made a slight bow. Seeing this, Lara opened her mouth wide, and the grab rod fell out of her hand. She couldn't believe her eyes. Are animals thanking her? Does she really recognize her as her savior? After that, the wolf suddenly turned and limped away. Lara couldn't help but laughing. She saved a life. She now knows the fact that human beings are not the only ones with emotional ability. After that, she and her child devoted their life to rescuing injured animals in the wood. What do you think of this story? If you were in Lara's shoes, what would you do? Here's another heartwarming situation. In a selfless act of sheer bravery, a dog sacrificed its life to save its 10-year-old owner from being attacked by a wolf in the Russian subarctic village Sindor in the Komi Republic. The young boy, named Yemelyan, was playing hide-and-seek with his siblings when he decided to hide in a pile of snow. The video shows the boy hiding in a pile of snow while he completely fails to notice a hungry wolf emerging from the nearby forest and heading straight towards him. His dog, Jesse, spots the danger and charges at the wolf, a brave act that causes it to lose its life. A CCTV camera on Yemelyan's nearby family home saw Jesse charge out of the house at lightning speed, trying to get rid of the wolf. The wolf then can be seen turning on the dog and leaving her in a pool of blood, while anguishing cries of a helpless Jesse can be heard. But the brave dog's sacrifice gave Yemelyan enough time to make his escape. He jumped out of the pile of snow and ran to the safety of his home to alert his parents. His dad, Ruslan, summoned his friends, who were local hunters, and rushed outside, and the wolf dropped the dog, which was still clenched in its mouth, and fled into the forest. Jessie was found still alive, but severely wounded and covered in blood. She tragically died soon afterwards in the arms of Yemelyan's mother, Marina, on the way to the clinic in the regional capital. The sad episode proves the dog is indeed man's best friend, and it will always come to the rescue of those it loves. There have been instances when humans experienced their kindness, one where life was on the line. In Alaska, one guy was blessed enough to have been rescued by a wolf. Generally speaking, on the basis of their experience, tame wolves are strictly one-man dogs. They may be confiding and playful with the man who raised them, or even with his family, if fed and cared for by them, but they are suspicious and timid in the presence of strangers. One of the most well-documented cases of children raised by wild animals is that of Kamala and Amala, better known as the wolf children, discovered in 1920 in the jungles of Gadamuri, India. The girls, aged 3 and about 8, had been living with a she-wolf and her pack. What do you think about humans and wild animals bonding?